sixth grade artists, welcome to week 2. I'm really excited to share pop artist Clay Oldenburg with you. Pop art, as you'll remember, is a type of art where an artist is inspired by popular culture or things that are all around us, and they take everyday objects and turn them into art. Mr. Oldenburg was very inspired by food, as you can see. This particular piece is a sandwich that he used fabric and pieces of plastic sewn together to create a sandwich that has form, one of our elements of art. So it's a 3D piece, meaning you could actually pick it up or walk around it, which is how I think of form when I'm trying to decide if it's 2D or 3D. I can walk around it. This is another piece, again, form, and this is very sculptural. He is actually sewing a rectangle, a square, another rectangle together so that you could pick up this plate of fries and try to determine if they're edible or not. I don't think they are, but you could pick them up. This is one of my favorite pieces by Mr. Oldenburg because it makes me stop and think, how in the world did he get this on top of the building and how was it installed? It's something I like to talk about in art class, which is the installation of art. When I go to a museum, sometimes I forget to stop and think about, how did the art get here? Who installed it? Who chose the frame? And the same is true with sculptures. This was a very complicated piece to install because it has to be safe. And so how did it get there? They had to take it through the city, probably on a flatbed truck, build scaffolding. You want it to be lovely, but you also want it to be safe. Another piece by Oldenburg is this spoon, and this is in Minneapolis, and several of our artists this year that have looked at this in the other sixth grade classes had seen this piece. There are kids underneath it to give you an idea of the scale. It's quite large, and again, thinking about installation, how it got there, how it was installed. These are all really important pieces of creating art and are fun and interesting to think about, I think. So we are going to pull inspiration from Oldenburg and create our own candy pieces. So here's some examples of that. Many of you have perhaps this year at Beverly Cleary walked through the hall and seen some of the pieces that your classmates have done. So I've pulled some of those to give you examples. Your project for this week is to choose a package of candy. So not the candy itself. I don't want an actual I can make. I want the package to recreate. You can do an internet search, pull up any package you want, which is what we did in class, and your goal, the criteria here, is to really capture the font and the details of the packaging. So when you're doing it, you want to think about what you're comfortable doing letter-wise. Maybe there's a style you like more. Maybe you like to do rounded letters more than sort of square letters. Everybody's going to be different. But what you'll notice in these is that you are having some choices. You can either do the whole piece of candy, or you can crop it in an interesting way. And if you crop it, the criteria is that I still need to be able to tell what it is. So for example, this artist did a great job of cropping what is obviously a Hershey bar, because I look at that and I know, yeah, that is the first part of a Hershey bar. The other thing I want you to think about is all of these packages have their very own unique font, the lettering. So an M&M, for example, if you saw just that M, without all of the little dots around it, you would probably know instantly that that was the M from an M&M package. It's very recognizable. Same with Reese's. That's got that cursive drawing, something we've seen many times, and we recognize it. So you want to choose a package that you're going to be able to simulate the font. Now, if you saw these in the hall, you know that they were large. They were what would be sort of equal to 2 pieces of our normal drawing paper. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't always have that giant paper at home. But what I can do, and what I have done, is I'll take my 2 pieces of drawing paper and tape them together. And if you do that, you'll have the same size paper that we used in class. So just 2 pieces of copy paper, tape it together in the middle with Scotch tape, put the Scotch tape on the back, and then you're going to draw on the front. Your starting point on this is to get the image so that you can be looking at it while you draw. This is one project I don't want you doing from memory. I want you to be looking at the package while you're creating it, because again, you need to focus on the font and you need to fill in the paper. So whether you're doing a small piece or a large piece, it should cover in the whole piece of paper. You want to take up the composition. You're going to draw it with pencil and really try to capture any of the details in the packaging. For example, this artist got the font right on. They also captured the little details that they saw in the rest of the packaging. This artist did as well. The font is set on, got the new up at the top. So you're really trying to capture all those details. Mike and Ike's, as you know, are they come in a box. And so this artist also chose to create a box, not just the front of it, but they wanted to make it dimensional. So that's an option as well. Once you have drawn in all the details, you will add the color. So in class, we use tempera paint. Again, not a supply many of us have at home, a full set. So your options for coloring are whatever you have at home. If you have markers, great. If you have colored pencils, great. Watercolor, great. Whatever you have will work. And so your goal with those colors is to try and pick up the colors that you see in the package. So example, Reese's. Always that bright orange, right? So you want to really try and capture that bright orange. Another thing I want you to think about that's really important is the background color. So your package does not take up the entire piece of paper. There is some negative space around it. You want to think about what color will complement your positive space or your packaging the best. So again, the Hershey, this is a dark brown, and then that sort of pinkish color, magenta color in the background is a really nice complement to it. You want to think about what is pleasing to your eye, what two colors go together well, and will stand out from one another. So one of the reasons this works well is because the Hershey's dark and the background's bright, it really pops out. So kind of be thinking about that. If you have any questions, please email me. And just a reminder, if you need a supply and you think it's something I might have at home, please let me know. I'm happy to drop it off on your porch. I hope you enjoy doing this. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.